Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. It's been a while, but we have got ourselves the first match of Group B for today. We had, of course, got a couple of Groups A matches, but we are in the group stages for the RedBull Esports Champions League 2013. This is a broadcast for Beyond the Summit, and with me is Vikremont as my co-caster. Vikremont, how long have you been waiting for this game?
Weeks.
Yeah, I know!
At least it feels like weeks. So, we did a few games of Group A. Now this is the first game of Group B. Of course, it's 6 teams per group. 4 will advance. And we're starting with a RisingStars triple header. So they have 3 games in a row. At the end of those 3, I think we'll have a pretty good sense of whether or not RisingStars will advance. Group B is the more difficult group. It's got DK Tongfu, LGD International, Rattlesnake. So I feel that RisingStars needs to probably win at least 2 of their first 3 to have any shot of advancing. It's going to be very, very tough for them to climb out. I feel that if they were in Group A, they'd have a little bit of an easier time. And of course, the same thing goes for XPY, Xiaopengyo. So it's like little friends or children, I think, or like kids. Bit of an odd team name. The fun anecdote with this team, of course, is that they briefly had Yafets, the Dota 1 legend, PIS. He was on this team during the group stages. He quit after a difficult loss to VG. I think he also hates... The rumor is that he hates Dota 2 also.
Oh, wow.
But he vastly prefers Dota 1. So either way, he got fed up. They had to replace him with another player. And they've been doing okay in the group stages, but definitely they're probably expected to be 6th out of 6, and it's up to them to sort of do better than that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you are going to be considered the loser of the group, I mean, you can only go up, right? It's
Yes, you can only overperform.
Like you cannot really disappoint. So that's actually a pretty okay play point. They've got nothing to lose, and that makes for a very dangerous team. Of course, all best out of ones might make it even a little bit extra dangerous. We've got ourselves a Bedrider band out together with an Alchemist, Nyx Assassin, and an OD, making Visage the first pickup for Xiaopengyo, and Darkseer and Dragonite picked up by RisingStars for their first 2. Having a solid mid hero, solid offlane hero, not really revealing too much about what they're actually going to be doing here, and the Visage, same story. I mean, you can do so many different things with him. Normally played as support, but it doesn't really give away if you're going to go aggressive or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 solo laners. We don't see Chinese teams or really that many teams in the world putting Dragon Knight on the side lane, even though he is a decent side lane carry. So this is almost certainly a mid, almost certainly an offlane Darkseer. It's a good start. It doesn't reveal that much in the way of the tri-lane. Of course, it also doesn't claim any tri-lane heroes. So that's the downside, is that XPY now gets 2 bans to try to target RisingStars' tri-lane. I think most likely they're going to target the supports, although the other option is to try to take out things like Gyrocopter.
Yeah, with the Lifestealer picked up here, that's already a carry for Xiaopengyo, so they can just ban out any carry that they want to not see, and then still be good for themselves, of course. Lifestealer, pretty solid carry. We are in the second banning phase, so I think actually both teams will be banning out some carries, so maybe that's going to result into us seeing some more unorthodox carries. I hope that we will, because that's of course always fun to watch. We actually saw a PA already today, you know, might have it again, and it was actually on the winning side. We're going to be seeing a Jakiro picked up, or banned out rather. It's one of the supports, and more support bans as the Rubik gets removed. And of course, I mean, if you only have a Visage in terms of support on the side of Xiaopengyo, and leaves kind of 3 supports to still be picked up in total for these 2 teams. So very important heroes to remove. You can just remove all those setup heroes. Rubik is a setup hero, Shadow Demon is a setup hero, and now Bane is not too much favorite in the Asian scene, so I'm not expecting him to be banned, but still a pretty nice bans are coming out here, and Xiaopengyo banning out 2 supports with the 2 bans.
Yeah, no real surprise for XPY to take out supports. I think we just said that they probably would. And of course, Jakiro Darkseer, even though it failed in the previous game, is a strong combination. Please don't use that one game as an example of how this is secretly bad. If somebody drafts Darkseer and you have a ban phase in between and they need a support, Jakiro is the best ban there. So it's smart for Xiaopengyo to take that out. I'm less convinced by RisingStars banning supports here. I think they need supports just as badly as XPY do, if not more, because they do already have the Visage. There's a lot of stuff that pairs well with Visage, basically any damage-dealing support, and you can't ban them all. If I were RisingStars, I would be thinking about right now what I actually want for my tri-lane. They banned the Slark, and I think that's fine. Slark, like I said, quite popular in Chinese in-houses. I think the pro teams are still figuring out how highly they regard him, but teams with more pub starry type players like XPY are likely to favor that more heavily.
Yeah, and the Sand King picked up as one of the supports for RisingStars. I'm actually having some trouble connecting to the server. Do you have the same issue? Never mind, it already got away.
It's just very unstable right now in general.
Yeah, of course, as people might know, and I mean, if you're watching the VOD, you might see a bit of a drop in frames as well. We are connected to the Perfect World servers, which are not too perfect at the moment, just by routing, of course. Both me and Vickermont are not in China, so that's already gonna create slight delays in terms of...
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. What? You don't have it? You're not in China? What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding. I'm just keeping it a little lively since it's 5:39 a.m. and I've been up since 12 and we've casted 2 games.
Yeah, I've casted four games, and I was up at 5 a.m. too.
Sure,
The
fair enough.
man with the hammer will come any moment now. Nah, I'm expecting him to come at around 4 p.m. So
I kind of like this Sand King pickup. If you have extremely good timing, you actually can get the stun off on a lot of players if you pair it up with the Darkseer vacuum. And then, hey, if your Epicenter is running at that time, that can be a team wipe. Think about the fact that Dragon Breath would probably hit everybody.
Yeah.
If your Dragon Knight's level 11 or higher, he also does AoE damage. I really like RStars' draft, frankly. Not that XPY's is bad either. They get the clockwork for a solo lane. I just really think it's going to come down to what these last support picks will be.
Yeah, I'm kind of really starting to respect more the Jakiro ban out. Of course, we know that he pairs up well with the Darkseer, but imagine the combo wombo combination that you could have had if you still had that one in the pool. But yeah, Weaver picked up now. Clockwork already on the side of Zhao Pen Zhou. And, well, kind of a passive lineup so far, if you will. Lifestealer needs a bit of time on the lane to get himself some more items. I know that Visage is normally a fairly aggressive hero on the early lane, but not really anything that starts to move around real early.
It's also, they kind of have a tri-lane dominating lineup, but they need somebody to set up the Lifestealer. So, this could be Naga mid, actually. Or it could be Naga, fucking mad style Naga support.
Yeah, we've
The
seen that
Ensnare
earlier today
would-
already.
Yeah, I would like that, because the Ensnare would mean that the Lifestealer actually... I was just wondering how the hell are you going to actually cast that open wounds? And Ensnare is one way that you can do it. By the way, watch out for a possible 5th pick IO from RisingStars. They're one of the Chinese teams that likes IO the most, and it wouldn't actually be that bad in this lineup either. It's pretty good with Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do it. In fact, I'm not even sure how good of an idea it is, but they might just because I know this team and they like to play that sometimes.
Yeah, and even with Weaver, it's actually quite decent if you have yourself a team fight and you tether Weaver, like tether stun on everybody. GG. No, but yeah, it could fit for sure. You already have got your 3 cores ready with the Weaver, Dragon Knight, and Darkseer, so a secondary support. Definitely something to watch out for. Of course, we could also see a Leshrek or Lina or something like that to follow it up on the Sand King Burrow Strike. Go very old school style. But Leshrek is the one that gets banned out here. We still have the Lina in the pool, if they really want to go for something like that, but we'll find out soon. And also, what we'll also find out is if the Naga Siren is indeed played as support or not, and a Chen picked up by RisingStars in the end as their secondary support. And this is gonna be slightly awkward on lane, because there is not, like, Weaver can of course be okay, but the rest is very melee heavy. And it's gonna be tough if there is gonna be an aggressive tri-lane with the Naga Siren support, for example.
It's true they do have a melee mid, a melee offlaner, a melee support in the form of the Sand King. Not really a lot of people that can help the Sand King ensure that he lands the Burrow Strike, although depending on what Chen picks up, keep in mind Ensnare from Dark Troll Summoner is basically a guaranteed Burrow Strike on that player. And because they do have Darkseer Chen, if they decide to roam, like for instance if Chen and Sand King roam across the map into the Radiant safe lane, the Darkseer can just surge the Chen creep forward and ensure that they do stun out Clockwork or whoever they happen to be pouncing on. And you're right, it's going to be a Naga support. And what it does give, what I think is nice about this, is it is a setup opportunity for the Lifestealer. And the minus armor, if Naga has decent mana, they can really devastate this Weaver with some well-placed Riptide plus Lifestealer damage.
And that is one very green badger, by the way. It's like hurts my eyes green. Or yellow,
yes,
green.
It sure is.
Well, let's see who's playing what. As we have got a pause coming out, but hopefully that won't be lasting all too long. Super will be playing the Chen. Will be heading himself into the jungle. Already picked up a smoke, so hoping to see some aggression from him early on. XTT on the Darkseer. We're gonna expect him to rotate bottom sooner rather than later. So Toji will be playing the Weaver. It will be Air on the Dragon Knight. We'll be heading mid with a fairly nice outfit. And the last one is XDD playing the Sand King. And
it's always tough to get a good Dragon Knight outfit because so many of the cosmetics are extremely ugly. Looking up towards Xiao Peng Yo, we do have Peng Peng as the mid Clockwork. Then, it's going to be mid Clockwork. And then Dao Dao. So here's the weird thing. They have two people named Dark Knife, which is confusing the hell out of me. One of them is named Dark Knife in, Roman characters. So that's the Naga support. And then Dao Dao usually plays as Dark Knife, but he's on the solo side lane Queen of Pain. So we're going to call this guy Dao Dao and this guy Dark Knife, and we'll just have to deal with that. Then it's a bunch of characters followed by 7. So T at the end there. We'll call this guy 7. He's on the Visage, and ZZZ on the Lifestealer.
Yeah. Oh, how I would prefer Roman letters. Or how I would prefer to learn Chinese,
their
right?
language. Yeah, I was going to say. That's maybe what you should go for. So, but yeah, it's Dao Dao on the Queen of Pain, 7 on the Visage, Dark Knife on the Naga. And they might go for a First Blood. I think they have a decent shot at it, honestly.
If they get a net off, if they get in a snare, someone that's out of position, there's a lot of follow-up burst damage coming off. Depending on what Queen of Pain specs, like, she goes for a Scream, you've got yourself a Soul Assumption there as well, already spec'd actually, by 7. But it looks like they're not going to get anything off. RisingStars being very prepared. Weaver standing at the front lines, of course the one that has an escape. No First Blood just yet, so Queen of Pain will rotate all the way to the bottom as we expect, and then Clockwork will be taken indeed on the mid lane. So, yeah, aggressive trend coming off from the Radiant team, and I like it. I have to like it. I like as Naga Siren as support. She is just such a playmaker. I mean, okay, she's also an anti-playmaker. I have to grant that as well. I mean, you can call boo if she uses her song in the middle of a fight, but the potential for her to set up fights is also very big. And then another pause coming out because it's cool. I'm assuming that that's why Super said P. P?
Yep. I think they're going to pause. That's what I suspect is going to happen. That's what
Oh my god, wait for it to come. No.
Oh, that's okay. There we go. The other team. I don't know what the actual pause rules are for the tournament.
Yeah, maybe you have to call P and then the other team have to pause. But that's actually quite awkward. Because, of course, as a team that...
That's how StarCraft works.
Yeah, but, I mean, it makes sense in general rules, but in Dota, the one that pauses actually gets their screen frozen. Like, you can't move around with your screen.
Don't all 10 players get their screens frozen?
Only the team that pauses.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
I believe it's so. Maybe they changed it after they introduced it, but... It started out to be just a team that pauses gets their screen frozen.
Well, I mean, in that case, you'd expect either the referee to do the pause or what have you. We do have 2 referees in here. They've been actually very communicative. I don't think shouldn't try to put the delays on either of them. Wizard in particular, or We7Ard, has been really helpful for me in the group stages. But, I mean, Rising, they kind of have to do this aggressive Tri-Sheeper. I like it as well, but with the lineup they've chosen, it makes no sense to not do one. You really want your Visage to be involved early. You want to start trying to get kills. You can see that he's actually ranked the level 1 Soul Assumption. So that's an all-out offensive approach rather than defensive. The slightly more typical approach is to take Grave Chill first, but if you do want to get a kill, I mean, the earlier you want to get a kill, the more you want that level 1 Soul Assumption.
Yeah, actually, like, he's already missing 1 Sentry Ward. Did he counter ward the camp and it got counterwarded again by RisingStars. I mean, they have a sentry right there. And it's gonna be quite painful. Oh, there's a net. They want to go for the Weaver. Let's see what they can do here. There's not gonna be enough though. Weaver, a very elusive hero, and
the other issue is Naga's only level 1, so they have no startup damage to get the Soul Assumption rolling. You need somebody else to be doing enough damage that the Soul Assumption will actually have an effect. But since Naga's level 1 and only has net, she does no damage, and Lifestealer currently isn't going to cause more than maybe 1 or 2 charges of Soul Assumption. So it was mostly a wasted net, honestly, just some lost mana for Naga with no real benefit.
Yeah, in the meantime, Peng Peng on the Clockwork is actually was taking a beating from the tower. He cocked himself in. It was brilliant cogs because, I mean, he burned away all the mana from air. But he was actually locking himself in when the tower was still attacking him, so it was kind of painful for him, using most of his regen for it.
Yeah. And I know you introduced this, but for some reason it didn't hit me until now that XTT is playing for RisingStars, even though we saw him in the lobby and you introduced him. That's my bad. Of course, this is the player that was kicked from VG.
Yes.
I don't know whether justly or unjustly, but personally I actually thought he was a quite strong offlaner. You see him reprising the offlane role that he played for VG here. I actually think XTT is very strong, and Darkseer is his best hero. So this is definitely something that could make a big difference for RisingStars this game.
He has been a while in this team, though. Because I remember being annoyed that there was an XTT and an XDD in the same team. And it's been a while since I casted Asian Dota, so...
Not sure. Maybe I'm being crazy because it's very early in the morning, but...
It is very early in the morning.
Pretty sure he was on VG for a while.
Oh yeah, he did. I think he did, but it was a while ago. A bit of FPS lag here by the looks of it. Awkward. But yeah, we have got a bit of a rotation.
Yep.
What?
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, there was a rotation. They're gonna try again, but I mean, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And I'm gonna see if I can try to fix this because it's starting to get a little bit annoying.
He got far enough that he was out of range.
Burrow strike up on the Visage, but no follow-up. Nice tornado.
No, they don't have the damage. They don't really have the damage either. Not with the Wild Kid. The Tornado's amazing for zoning the lane, but it's not going to get you a straight-up kill like that. The Burrow Strike mostly pushes them back enough that they won't be able to just fight the Wild Kid. Like, they can't, sorry, I should say the Wild Wing. They can't push in and destroy the Wild Wing because of that Burrow Strike zoning them out. So now they have to stay back or the Tornado will just ruin their regen. You can just see how much damage this Tornado is doing. Not just in, like, health points, but just in positioning and map control for them. So that's a nice little play from RisingStars. Somebody was asking about Super. Super it's a different Super from the one on DK.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be super. And I don't even mean the player, I just mean super awesome. You know? But, oh well. RisingStars, they have the lane completely pushed out, though, towards the tower of XPY, and that's kind of helping them. I mean, even though, like, aggressive tri lane, they're not really getting kills right now, but they are still getting the experience on the lane, at least. They're getting a little bit of farm up on Z as well. Lifestealer sitting on 15 last hits only. Not doing as well, but able to shut down the Weaver fairly good. Oh, fairly okay. He's 9-5 on Satuji.
Yeah, I think RisingStars probably fairly happy with how this has been going so far, especially the fact that, I mean, XTT has just been able to do extremely well. There's nearly nothing that Queen of Pain is going to be able to do to just kill the Darkseer early, especially if he's being annoying and running around and clearing out the jungle and such. So Queen of Pain farming well, so is Darkseer. And then in the mid, you don't really expect you don't expect Clockwork to kill Dragon Knight, nor the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as these lanes all remain static, and they're getting some farm on Weaver, RisingStars feel very, very comfortable, since of course XPY have gone for an aggressive tri-lane in which they're trying to get kills, and they haven't really even come close to one.
Yeah, and we actually have Air popping his Dragon form because he could. Quite surprising, and that Clockwork is full on mana, is not scared away so easily. And yeah, this mid lane in terms of last hits is very even as well. 22 for 5, 23 for 5 on the Dragon Knight, 19 for 6 on Peng Peng, and I mean the difference is still there, still slightly in favor of Air, but like you said, nobody is gonna die anytime soon there, and the kills should really come from the top lane. Ooh, XTT. Queen of Pain, Sonic Wave, because he can! First Blood goes away of Dao Dao.
First blood.
Bit of a mistake from Darkseer there. I think that was kind of optimistic. Once Queen of Pain has ultimate, I mean this is level 8 Queen of Pain, so even if she delayed ultimate, Usually you'll see people taking it at 8, no later than 8, and these days people frequently take it at 6. So just putting himself in a position where he was going to take a lot more damage. Dragon Knight does get a bit of harassing on the tower. The idea here is to try to break up this tri-lane even more, force the Naga and Visage to have the pressure to rotate.
Success.
And I think they're going to start doing that now. They just smoked.
Yeah. Success achieved indeed. Let's see what they can do there though. I mean, Dragon Knight, even though he doesn't really have a solid escape mechanism, he is still a very tanky hero. It's still a tough one to take down. You have to have a lot of damage. And we already noticed, like, there's not that much damage. Though there is a Riptide. The hookshot hits. They're gonna try. Dark Knife actually slightly confused that they were still gonna try. And it's actually Pang Pang taking a ton of damage. Will get harassed by the tower and will actually stay alive. The kill goes the way of the Visage. And Dragon Knight does end up going down. Quite a big sacrifice on HP though, on the side of the Clockwork.
Yeah, but that's actually a very good kill. It delays any chance of the Dragon Knight pushing the tower, for instance. It also gives Clockwork a bit of an edge in the lane. That was nice overall. I liked the bit of rotation plus hookshot. It's interesting because there is a ward here from RisingStars, but nonetheless it was a well-aimed hookshot. That's really what secured the kill there. Otherwise, Dragon Knight, once he's behind the tower, you're going to lose at least one, possibly two.
Yeah, in the meantime, we have got ourselves a Burrow Strike up on Z. The net goes off on XDD though, so we can't go for something to follow it up on. To try and chase someone down. But still, I mean, this is one shot down Lifestealer. In the meantime, the push comes out from RisingStars looking for the tower, or at least not looking for it. They obviously know where it is, but they look to take it down. And so far, they're looking pretty promising to do so as well.
Oh yeah.
Two birds helping out. Tornadoes. Oh, net.
Well, here they go.
They're gonna try it. XCD still has a Burrow Strike though. He can't get himself out, but he gets hooked. Infest out. Is he gonna be able to stay alive? Sandstorm was already there. Weaver tries to do what he can, and looks like XCD will indeed live. Dark Knife, not so lucky, goes down. In comes the Soul Assumption. Air coming in will stay alive as well. Is there gonna be another Burrow Strike? Yes, there is. Up on 2. Flare coming in as well. It will be the Visage that goes down. Air running for his life. 50 HP. Gets a Dragon Tail up on the Lifestealer though, and that's a double kill for Zaituji. That's gonna be RisingStars taking on the tower and kills and not losing anything in return. Or did they actually? No, Air TP'd out.
No.
They did not lose a single thing.
It was 2-0. They take 3 in a tower. XPY, they tried to overstay their welcome there. In particular, they didn't, I feel, factor the fact that RisingStars has built 3 sets of magic sticks. So Air had a magic stick, it's now a wand. Xiaotuji has a magic stick, and XDD does. So they came very close to killing both Sand King and Dragon Knight, and then they just heal up with the magic stick, and all of a sudden you're not even close to killing them. So, I mean, it wasn't a terrible idea. Again, I thought the hookshot was pretty good, but they get punished very, very heavily for attempting to fish for kills there. They feel the pressure to get kills with their lineup, but when you're behind on levels, when Dragon Knight rotates because there's no opposition in his lane, you're taking questionable chances.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Queen of Pain rotate and maybe try to make something happen. She is the one that can take kills, I think. Meantime, mid lane is gonna go down as well on the tier 1 tower side for... Oh, hookshot in. Sonic Wave as well. This time he is there. Hand of God already heals it back up though. Tower will still go down. That's a Dragon Tail up on the Queen of Pain. Can she blink? Oh, I know she cannot. She goes down. Pang Pang in a lot of trouble. Getting chased down. There will be another Dragon Tail in a second. Together with the Burrow Strike. Another kill going the way of RisingStars. And they are just... Oh, awkward. Just a creep. Well, net on the creep. Kinda awkward from the Dark Knife, but okay. Visage goes down still. Although actually,
yeah.
Well, having a net on the creep that can net the other guy might have been intentional, but didn't really accomplish too much. It's RisingStars, they are looking strong, and the only thing that the Radiant team needs is time, and they're not giving it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same mistake from Xiao Pengyo 2 times in a row. I think they thought that what they were missing was, well, as soon as we bring Queen of Pain in, we'll be fine and we can actually win the fight. But now they add the Chen ultimate on, and that cancels out your Queen of Pain ultimate. Actually, a little bit of trouble for ZZZ. He's gonna TP out at least. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he can't really get any farm though. Like, he is having his phase boots. That's awesome. But it is fighting from behind right now, and they have got an okay lineup to do that with, and that's mostly in the form of a Naga Siren. But she doesn't have her song yet, so that means no saving the Grace with the Song of the Siren. Actually, TP is going bottom. They want to try to maybe deny the tower. Hook shot. Misses.
It's a hard shot. He needed to shoot north of the creeps, and so it's difficult to hit north of the creeps and the Sand King. I'm actually not sure there was an angle. He would have had to go like about 100 units north to even land that possibly. So it's not his fault he missed that, but even if he had landed it, I think they would have just overextended themselves again.
Yeah, RisingStars though take a tier 1 tower. That was the last one on the side of the Radiant, and they smoke up and go for a turn and burn kind of style. They want to go for Dao Dao, and they want to go for the Queen of Pain. There's a Dragon Tail. Is there enough damage? Here comes the Burrow Strike as well, and that's going to be the last hit going to XTD. Ownage is called. 2-7 is the kill score. Gold graph, only 12 minutes into the game, we already have 7,500 gold in favor of RisingStars. Experience graph, it is looking very bad for XPY.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're the more experienced team, it's usually in your favor to try to take these big fights simply because your execution is more likely to be better. Whereas for XPY, it's like, can we try to get solo pickoffs? Can we exploit positioning? And nice, quick rage, fast reaction time by ZZZ there, so he'll walk away. But RisingStars, not only did their hero lineup and their item builds favor early clashing, that sort of made them do what they were probably planning to do already, which was take these fast clashes, take the towers. They're up 3 outer towers. XDT has already been farming this opposing jungle. He's going to keep doing that, feeling very safe now that Mechanism is up. And it's difficult for XPY to controvert this in any way.
Yeah, what I'm kind of afraid of is that RisingStars will not continue to lay down the pressure. I think that like they're ahead, obviously, no doubt about it. They need to continue to keep the pressure on so that the Lifestealer doesn't get any momentum back, though. And right now, they are backing off. We still have Weaver farming, of course. He is a bit of the fail-safe for RisingStars. Should things fail, he's going to carry his team. So 2G has got himself a hook shot in the face. That's what he got. He's got himself a Sonic Wave as well. Can he time-lapse? He already used time-lapse. Hand got there as well. And he runs. He flees. He's safe.
He's probably okay, I feel, actually.
Actually, they're going to counter-initiate here. TPs are going to come in. Naga Siren does have a song ready. Should it be needed. Sandstorm. Going to give Sand King a little bit of invisibility. Looking for that Burrow Strike. Can't find it. From the side, here comes the Darkseer. The song. No vacuum for you. Dark Knife gets himself and, of course, his Queen of Pain out into safety.
Yeah, and again, I feel like they're not reckoning with the Chen. Like, yes, you probably kill Weaver there even without detection if there's no Chen on the map. But with Chen, he probably lives. It's going to be very hard to kill Weaver unless you have a sentry down or you dust or the Visage manages to be there as well. So I don't know. I do like what RisingStars are doing. You have the map control. You push them out of their own jungle. Why not go Roshan? There's next to no reason not to. Do they have a medallion? No. So it's going to take a little bit of a while, but they're still going to clear it out, and there's almost nothing that XPY can do. Maybe a hook shot, but no. He's not going to take the chance. I like the phase boots on Sand King, by the way. Unusual choice, but it does help set up your own Burrow Strikes rather than waiting for, like, a Chen creep or something.
Yeah, I agree. XPY, they're trying, like with the Roshan, normally you want to get something in return, obviously, when your enemy team takes a Roshan, but the thing that they're getting in return is time, I guess. For now, they can have a little bit of farm. We have got the Queen of Pain farming in the bottom. Going for BKB first item by the looks of it. Thinks she is in the danger zone, so blinks and TP's out, but everybody of RisingStars actually farming out their own jungle. And we have got XPY going for something. Do they have a smoke to go with this? Oh. Smokes purchased. Naga Siren gets him 2 smokes. And a Gem of True Sight just picked up by RisingStars Super.
Yeah, for XPY at this point, they kind of have to take it slower. I mean, they got to get Lifestealer somehow in the game. He's working towards Armlet. Because they're on the back foot, he picks the defensive part first, so the Helm of Iron will. But no, I guess they're going to try to smoke. I don't know what I think about this. It's going to be very difficult to actually win a fight.
Yeah, and it's like, why would they try, right? I mean, you want to go for pickoffs, not for big old team fights.
Yeah, but smoke can earn you a pickoff. The issue is that RisingStars are basically 5 mana because they know their advantage.
That's of course the difference of being able to see the screen, the minimap, and everybody's location compared to not being able to see that. We do have a Dragon Tail up on ZZZ in the mid lane. Here comes a Burrow Strike as well, just because he can, and that's gonna be an infest in the creep. Not sure how long it will last, but we'll see. They know he's there.
They know. But yeah.
They've got a Gem of True
Maybe they
Sight,
can try to
by
fight
the
it
way.
out. I think they're gonna try to.
Oh, here comes the hook shot.
Familiar.
Missed actually. Burrow Strike up on 2. Darkseer Roll goes through. Dragon's Breath, tons of damage. Sonic Wave still goes through, but the Hand of God heals people back up again. Clockwork will go down next to the Naga Siren. Darkseer is still the one to be picked up on the side of RisingStars themselves, but they will still go for this tier 2 tower. They will not be stopped. Queen of Pain, Sonic Wave on cooldown, and that's one of the bigger team fight spells, of course, that the Radiant team has.
Yeah, I mean, hookshot getting blocked by a familiar, definitely not something they wanted. And
Nope.
RisingStars does a pretty good Darkseer setup. To be fair, the Sonic Wave hit 4, so Dao Dao had a very nice shot there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's really their only damage of any sort. It's that plus that gives you 1 soul assumption.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the sum total of how much damage they can do.
And then you have got the Hand of God from the Chen, and everybody's back to normal. And what do you do then? You run. It's the only thing they can continue doing, so that's a tier 2 tower gone. Only 1 tier 2 left standing on the side of XPY.
Yep. At this point, the Sonic Wave will still do some damage, even if you respond with the heal. It's only rank 1 heal, and it's rank 2 Sonic, so it's about whatever 80% of 475 is. So about like 400, 375 damage, minus 200. You're still dealing decent AoE. It's still enough for a soul assumption to kill 1 person. And that's basically what happens there. They kill the Darkseer, no problem, but they can't kill anybody else. So RisingStars still earns more and more advantage.
Yeah, it's 9-3. I mean, they're not that dominant in terms of kills, but they're dominant in terms of control. They just have got this map totally being theirs. Radiant jungle, theirs. Dire jungle, theirs. And they're just making XPY pay for every time they step out of their base. The gold graph is going towards the 12k. Experience graph already almost at 9k, 10k. In favor of RisingStars. And the question remains, like, I mean, we still have an Aegis up on the Weaver who now has a BKB ready. When is RisingStars trying to go high ground? What items do they want to have before they try to do something like that?
I don't really see any reason why RisingStars couldn't eventually high ground. It's just there's no real reason they have to barrel down bottom and get high ground when they can just clear out the additional 2 outer towers first. So I think they just do that, and then they look to high ground a little later. They're not under the gun. They're not under any tremendous amount of pressure. As long as they can keep getting kills and pushing towers 1 by 1, they don't need to high ground right now. They can just keep playing normally. This is a nice wraparound gank potentially on the Lifestealer.
They're gonna go for him. Rage is already there. Tries to TP himself out. Damage is not gonna be enough to take him down beforehand. Nice Rage TP out.
Yep. They probably still get... I think they just push into the tower at this point.
Yeah, tower already down to half HP. Actually, wow, I was confused. I thought he was already dead, but oh well. 2 tier 2 towers still standing.
Yep.
And it's gonna be only 1 very soon because there's no fortification. And this is not a place where XPY should be looking to fight, because if they lose that fight, they'll lose just more than a tier 2 tower. So they'll just let it go, and they'll hide in their base until the big bad RisingStars people are gone.
Yeah, it's difficult. If you're Xiaopengyo, it's... The Queen of Pain can probably farm okay, simply because she can blink out of danger. But it is nighttime, so it's quite difficult for her to see something coming, especially if they come in via smoke. Keep in mind it's a Shadowblade Dragon Knight, with gem for that matter, although the gem is not terrifically important except for clearing wards. But if he just runs up to you in Shadowblade and stuns you, the rest of the team is easily going to pick you off. So it's just extremely dangerous for any member of Xiaopengyo to try farming.
Yeah,
Only the Lifestealer really can get out easily.
and Dao Dao, I mean, he has been farming a little while, but his item progression is really slow. I think he's still gonna go for the BKB. Can almost buy a Minthra Hammer. He probably just wants to wait until he can buy the whole thing, just in case, for example, he needs to buy back. But
Yeah.
it's been a while since he actually bought a new item, and his farm, I mean, his gold per minute is, of course, not the greatest, 333. Still highest on his team, though, which might actually be troublesome for his team.
Yeah, they're far enough behind, and they're going to be facing a high ground push fairly soon. So they definitely don't want to build items that aren't going to change the game by themselves, so that they can hold buyback. They do have a pretty good amount of buyback. Like, all 3 of their core heroes have the opportunity to buy back. Envisage and Naga aren't that far away from their own buybacks either. Actually, maybe this tower will get them fairly close to buyback. So, I like this choice by Xiaopeng. Like, if you're Queen of Pain here, Mithril Hammer does nothing for you. You might as well save buyback and then build the full BKB.
Yeah, I agree. And RisingStars have taken out all outer towers. Aegis is already gone. So I'm thinking, wait 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes-ish. Go for Roshan, go high ground. And then you will have yourself a Sand King with the Blink Dagger, because you'll have that around that time.
Yes, he actually has it right now, if he wants it.
Yeah, we almost have a BKB up on the Dragon Knight, so maybe they'll wait for that as well, even though 2.5 minutes from now he might even have it, depending on how fast he'll be able to farm. And we've actually got 2k gold up on Zautuji. What do you think he's gonna buy?
At this point, there's, I would say damage is almost certainly the correct approach. He could, for instance, I wouldn't mind seeing him make a Desolator, just for the push potential of it. MKB is also entirely possible. It does tremendous damage. You have the True Strike capability. I think I would prefer to see Deso. I don't know if he'll actually do it.
Okay, this was an awkward attempt here. Sentry Ward went down too late, so the net didn't hit. Weaver is gonna be just fine. They have got that ward up in the high ground, so that's how they know that he was there, but yeah, in comes the gem and Sentry Ward countered once again. Air with his Shadow Blade not able to get something here, but they're just starving XPY right now, and when they're ready for Roshan, they'll go in and they'll come back and they'll try to probably go high ground. We have got Darkseer with a pipe on in the meantime as well, so the team fight potential of RisingStars, even though it was already bigger than XPY, is going to be even bigger than it was before. The Sonic Wave, if the pipe is up and there is a Hand of God, it's going to do nothing.
Some kind of odd choices have been made with this Naga Siren support. I haven't seen Dark Knife play that often, so I don't know how often he plays Naga support, but in that case, there's not much of a reason not to place the Sentry Ward, then ensnare the Weaver.
Yeah.
Instead, he misses the ensnare, and the Sentry Ward becomes relatively useless. So that's, I feel like that's the second time that's happened. And also there was the early ensnare in lane that didn't do very much. I also would love to see him actually taking 1 rank and mirror image for long distance Riptides, if nothing else. I don't know. Just some choices that aren't necessarily... Well, the ensnare versus Sentry Ward was just wrong, but the skill builds, obviously, there's a lot of justification for.
I would like to see mirror image as well. I mean, if you're going to be preparing for a 5-man siege of your opponent team towards your base, there is a way to just make them pause for a bit, like, do we really want to do this? Of course, by just having indeed your mirror images going for Riptide on everybody there, and all of a sudden your enemy team is a little less strong, and, you know, you might give them pause, and you might buy yourself some extra time, and that's of course what it's all about. And this is going to be RisingStars going for the Roshan, going to be up in a couple of seconds, and I don't think that the raiding team is going to even try to contest this. I don't think they can.
They almost certainly cannot. They just have to sort of deal with it. And that first Roshan, that he just got them a lot. Even though they never actually spent it, they used those 6 minutes to present a force that XPY wouldn't even think about engaging on. So they got, I think, all 3 outer tier 2s with that first Aegis. And the second one, I think, is the tool they need to try to pierce high ground. Haha, he is going Desolator. That's great. This gives them so much pushing ability. XPY, they are going to try to pick it off, because they fear that if they don't get this Roche, if they don't get something to happen, they can't defend high ground. So it's a very tough situation.
They have the vision. Maybe they're just going to try to steal it.
They will.
Looking for the hook. Hopefully there's not going to be a block, but we see already the 2 supports setting round. They are not going to be able to do it anymore now. It's too late. And you saw XCD and XCT were hanging around just to block the hook that might come in. It's kind of funny. But, yeah.
They did do that, but in my opinion, that was kind of a failure of nerve, frankly. XPY clearly set up for the attempt at the Aegis steal, and they had multiple possible avenues of doing it. Clockwork Hook, or Naga Sleep. I mean, how good is Naga Sleep for stealing Roshan? She is the best Roshan stealing hero.
Have we seen it yet? Yes, we've seen it once, actually.
In this tournament, or in
I mean,
in
we've seen Naga Sleep once in this game, in general.
Oh, we've seen a sleep. Yeah.
One. Yeah.
But I just feel that, I don't know, if you're going to set up your entire team as 5 across the river in an attempt to get Roshan, if you decide not to, you've wasted the time of everybody there, especially a Lifestealer who so desperately needs to improve his net worth situation.
Yep. And we have got ourselves the BKB ready on the Dragon Knight. The Desolator is done. RisingStars are gonna go for the Visage right now. It should be fairly okay pickup, fairly easy as well. I mean, he's a level 9 Visage. And he's getting chased down by level 10 and level 12. Nice burst, but the vacuum is still gonna be there. Maybe he gets... Nah, he's dead.
I hope he doesn't lose these familiars. Okay, they don't go for them. He did resummon that, and it didn't save him.
Dire's top tower is under
And luckily for him, he's not feeding that gold. And of course, the familiars are like half of Visage. So if there should be a fight on this middle lane, at least he'll have his birds, right? Every little bit helps.
Yeah, no, definitely. Having the birds available is good. Unfortunately, at this point, I think RisingStars feel very, very comfortable trying to take high ground, and Xiaopengyo will need. I think they can defend this, but it's going to take some very good ultimate usage.
Oh, missed micro from the birds. They just stand there taking damage. Hook shot on a teammate. And that's infested. Clockwork, by the way. Vacuum there. Look at the damage. Song being casted might help negate some of the damage, might help people escape, but look at these BKBs. Weaver, he doesn't want to stop. He gets ensnared. Make sure he doesn't get the kill on the lifestealer, but it was very close. They lose the Visage, nothing more, which is quite surprising because it was a nice vacuum wall. But, well, I say nothing more, but they are, of course, going to lose their Rax. Nice Sonic Wave. But the RisingStars, they're pretending like it was never there.
Well, RisingStars, that was just... They're far enough ahead at this point that even though that was actually a pretty good Naga sleep in terms of its timing, in response to RisingStars doing Vacuum Dragon Knight damage, it's not enough for XPY to take that.
They've got Air, taking actually a ton of damage, turns on his BKB, nice Burrow Strike up on Therido! And that's gonna be the Lifestealer dead, but as is the Weaver, but Weaver of course has got himself an Aegis. Naga Siren will drop Air, still alive in this one. Able to pick up the Visage, another Burrow Strike up on 2 XDD, playing out of his mind with these Burrow Strikes. The GG has been called, and RisingStars will be taking this game of the group stage, Group B, for the RedBull Esports Champions League.
Yeah, that's a good start for RisingStars' campaign. If they want to advance in a group in which they're probably regarded as the 5th best team, they can't possibly lose or even come close to losing against what's regarded as the 6th best team. I think Xiaopengyo, I mean, regardless of whether they're able to take any games, it's definitely good for them to get the experience. It's great for them to get the exposure. A little bit of... I think they set themselves a very difficult task here. You have 2 supports, Visage and Naga Siren, who essentially need to excel early. And so you're basically saying, we're so good that we're going to crush that aggressive trialing. We're going to get kills. We're going to get development early against a team that's much more experienced than you and probably favored to take it. So they didn't manage to do that. And so they end up looking, I think, worse than they really are. But it's just, I don't know. Not a fantastic showing, not a terrible showing. I thought they had some good placements of like Queen of Pain ults and stuff like that.
Am I correct in saying that we're going to see RisingStars again after this one?
2 more. So RisingStars versus Tongfu next, and then I believe RisingStars versus lgd.int.
Ah, there we go then. So we have got ourselves a couple of extra games coming up. Stick around. You are watching, of course, like I said, the RedBull Esports Champions League, and you are watching the group stages. So we had got 3 games from Group A earlier today. We're going to watch 3 games of Group B, and I believe we're going to jump back to Group A for 1 or 2 matches after that as well. But stick around and you'll find out, because we are running very, very far behind schedule. So we'll see how tired the players are and if they actually can still play by the time that the games actually come on. And of course, this is a broadcast on Beyond the Summit stream. So broadcast brought to you by Beyond the Summit, casted by myself, Shiver, and my co-caster, Vikromont. And you can follow us on Twitter, on @Vikromont on Twitter, and @Shiver Gaming on Twitter as well. That's that. Let's jump ourselves out of this game into the next one and hope that the downtime is a lot less than what we've had earlier today.